whole bunch of this. Think of all the little portraits that you see as you're in the courtyard. You see a lot of the different characters of what they were supposed to look like compared to what they ended up looking like. That's kind of what we're going for here. Something that looks similar to that character, but not exact. You don't need it to be perfect. That's why we don't have erasers. All right. So you've got that circle there, a whole bunch of lines. We're going to give him some guidelines. A large letter C shape to give him a bit of a turn. He's going to be looking away from us at the doors that you entered in. So think of a large letter C shape or a crescent moon bending through your circle, kind of like a beach ball. Just going to bend this through. Doesn't need to be perfect. You can draw in a couple of those if you need to. Now, for his eye line, it's a little bit above the bottom of your circle. He's actually got a really tall forehead. This guy's body is shaped really weird. So, from side to side of your favorite circle lines, stretch out a letter U shape. It's basically that letter C shape, but curved sideways. So, if you want to turn your board, you can do that too. Kind of helps. Like these discs here, they turn from side to side to get closer to those lines. But I'm on lockdown, so. All right, so we've got a beach ball. Now we can start working on this guy. We're going to start on the outside and work our way in. He doesn't have any bones or a skull. So, over here at the edge of my circle and to my bottom line, the same type of flat letter C shape, I'm going to put that a little bit smaller and cut off a portion of my circle. This is going to give me the edge of his head, so it's just a bit of a curved line, kind of like you took a small bite out of a cookie. I like to think of Olaf like a sock puppet. So when you put your hand in a sock, you've got that curve for his overbite. That's what it literally, you could make a sock puppet Olaf. So to create this, I'm just going to add in a letter C shape really, really lightly. It's going to go from the line we created outside of my circle and then right back underneath it to just stop there. That's going to help create that really light overbite. So you can even cut this up into pieces if you want. Start out with a hill, swoop around, and make that letter C shape. Somebody got a text message. All right. Now, this guy has a really big smile. So the bottom of that letter C shape is actually going to keep going. It's going to extend back into my circle at the inner edge here, just where that guideline is. So I'm going to add a little dot over there to kind of help me out. But go to that bottom of that letter C shape and start extending the line. Take it all the way up to that dot. That's going to give him his smile. And of course, with a really big smile, when you smile, you get smile lines. So he's going to have the same thing as well. This is a little rainbow just on the top of that to give him a little bit of a push on his cheek. All right, the top portion of his head is the portion of your circle that you have there. So just darken in the portion that you like the best. You're going to stop right above his smile line. So it's usually the edge of your circle. So go to that first line you created and swoop over, just darkening in the curve that you like the best of your circle here, locking that down a little bit more. Now the edge of his head will actually carve off a portion of your circle. It's going to stop right outside of it next to his smile there. That's going to help create more of a push on his cheek as well. So from where you left off, let the line just fall right down outside of your circle next to his smile line. All right, you've got the top half and his overbite, but we need his neck. I like to think of his neck as those really big, huge waffle cones that we sell in the park. You can smell them from a mile away. If you cut it in half, on the top portion, you'll have two lines that go in towards each other, but no point. So that's what we want. We want two lines that go towards each other underneath your circle that leave a smaller opening there. So start from that first line that we created and let a line drop in and down underneath your circle. And then I'll hop over to the edge of my circle on this side, underneath his smile, and do that same exact thing, just really lightly. Now he sneezed, his body went away, so add in a letter U shape right between these two, and that will connect that base of his chin/neck. Okay, so as of right now, you should have a really weird looking snowman on your paper, true? Yeah? You're like, this lady's crazy, this looks nothing like Olaf. Okay, well we will continue on then, and we will start to give him some facial features that make him look more like Olaf. One being that buck tooth. Other characters have this as well. Can you name a couple? Goofy, yeah, right? I mean, you got Goofy sitting right next to you. Okay, who else? Mater, yeah, okay. Does anybody, what about Roger Rabbit? right? That guy's like totally crazy goofy. Like he's just exaggerated everywhere. So if you go outside of his neck right here, just underneath his smile, pull down that same type of line like his neck. He's gonna look like a vampire for a little bit. And then I'll hop in on the inside right in front of my guideline, do that same thing again. So you got vampire Olaf. Now connect these like you did with his neck, a stretched out letter U shape. And here's where we start locking down features. Now that I have that tooth in place, I'm going to darken this in, make this stand out a little bit more. Round out the edges too, since he is not a villain, he's a good guy. He only has good things to say. All right, next portion of this are his eyes. Keep these super, super light, like you just did in the very beginning for your construction circle. That's going to help us to add in a couple more features before we wake him up. The right one is a lot bigger than the left one, so we'll start with that one. Just go ahead and place a circle in that corner. A whole bunch of these. He's going to look creepy for a while. So there's one. Now the other one is just as tall, but like a jelly bean. A little bit thinner here, so I'm going to add in another one on the other side, fitting it in that area. So you should have Tower of Terror Olaf right now, which is like really creepy. I know, like imagine those doors opening, he's like holding the hand of the little girl, and she's got his other hand, like the stick hand. That's kind of creepy. Yeah. All right. We need something else. This next thing was very, very expensive. It's probably organic, and it was Sven's dinner. What is it? Carrot. Yeah, the carrot nose, right? That thing costs so much money. So we want to add that in. I'm going to add in a dot as long as you want this carrot nose to be. You can have a baby unicorn nose sticking out the back of his head. You can have it as far out as you want. There's my dot. Now, from where that right eye is, just where that guideline is, I'm going to pull a hill over to my dot, just really lightly. This is a basic carrot shape. Don't worry if you're going over his eye, totally normal. Now underneath that, add in a stretched out letter U shape. Just dip down, it should look like a leaf is sitting there. Now here's where you can give that carrot some texture. You can darken in the portions that you want to keep and let your pencil drift away to make bumps or grooves. So I'm going to start to lock down the portion of the carrot nose that I like, and then I'm going to let my pencil drop down and create a bump. And then I'll go back up to my line again and maybe drop down again to create another bump. It's totally up to you and random. You can add in as much or as little texture as you want. But when you get that in place, lock all of that down, and you can give this some more carrot texture. You can add in some little curved C shapes like we've been doing all over the place. This is those carrot lines, basically. I don't really know what they're called. There you go. All right, but you're halfway done. So go ahead, take some time to catch up. Round out any sharp edges that are on this guy. Really darken in the lines that may have faded away on the outside. Anything that's behind a facial feature like his teeth or his nose, you want to keep that super light. Like that eye, that portion of that left eye, totally gone forever. Okay. Halfway done. How are we doing? Yes. Oh yeah. All right, good. 2 of you. Okay. If you like your drawing, give me a thumbs up. Okay, a lot of you. I like the thumbs up when your head's down too. That's really awesome because that means you're like studiously working away. Totally cool. Okay, are you having fun? Yeah. Yeah, good, great. Well, we will continue on then, and we will start to get this guy woken up. I'm going to darken in the portions of his eyes that I like the best, and you can now have him looking in any direction you want. You can have him looking up like he's thinking about summer, looking at his nose because he's wanted one his whole life, which was like a day. Whatever you want to do. I'm going to have him looking out at all of you, so I'm going to add in a couple circles over here. If you want to add in hearts or stars for his eyes, you can definitely do that as well. It's totally your drawing. But once you get those pupils in place, here's what you need to do. You want to outline these super dark and then shade them in. This should be the darkest part of your drawing. You really want this to stand out. I even like to add in a little highlight, which looks creepy at first, but if you darken everything in but that tiny little circle, that's going to give him some extra cuteness. This guy was actually created with a tongue in the very beginning. If you look at a lot of his conceptual art, his mouth is open and he's got a tongue. But then when you look at him in the film, he doesn't have a tongue. It's kind of weird. All right, so we've got smiles, we've got his eyes. We need eyebrows. His eyebrows are really nice for being made out of sticks. I mean, I wish I had those eyebrows. So to create them, Their hill's just right above his eyes. If you make him super high, he'll look super excited, and that's definitely all right. I like to think of them as upside down Cheshire cat smiles. So I'm going to add in a hill just right above his right eye, just following that same type of curve. And the left one is going to go to the edge of his head. So that one is a little bit shorter, but the same curve. Now here's what you want to do. Add that same hill just right above that to connect it together. It's going to give it a little bit of thickness. There's 1 and 2. Now if you don't want to do it this way, you can also just go over that hill a couple times, and then it'll give it that same type of thickness without having to do the weird thing. All right, what does this guy need? He needs hair, right? I mean, you could add a body, but that's totally extra credit work. So go to the top of his head and pull up 3 flicks of the pencil. I like to think of them as kitty cat whiskers. So I'm going to go to the top of his head and pull up 1, 2, 3 little hairs. Now it's supposed to look messy, and they're sticks, so go over them a couple times. Give them some branches. You can add Elsa hair if you wanted to, or maybe you want to add some Mickey ears. It's totally up to you. This is your drawing. Now, have any of you actually met Olaf today? No? Warm hugs? Too long? Did you build a snowman? Now, my thing, I went to go build a snowman, and I actually wore these really cool shoes that are called Toms. You've probably heard of them. Yeah, not good in snow. Just letting you know that now. I like to give him an open mouth smile, which is just a letter U shape that drops right off of that. Makes him look like super crazy happy. But if you do that, you do want to shade in the back portion of his mouth. Use the side of your pencil. It works nicely as a crayon. All right, this is pretty much all there is to it, you guys. Now there's one more thing that you do want to do. Super important. This is your drawing. You get to take this home. You can go have Olaf sign it, whatever you want to do. But sign your name somewhere on your paper, nice and proud. You can give him his own flurry if you wanted to. Since, you know, it's California, we have weird weather, he could melt. All right, I'm going to ask one more time. You ready for this? How did you do?
Good.
Woo! And now, are you just saying that because I asked you again and you feel bad for me? No? Okay. Yes. Well, I would love to see each and every single one of you, even if you're not done yet or you're not so sure about your drawing, okay? So, on the count of 3, let's have an art show. Ready? Have you turned over your drawings? Share them. 1, 2, 3. Olaf! Great job, and teamwork over here. Really great job. I love the shading. He looks really, really awesome. I love that tooth, too. Really great job over here. He's looking up so happy. Really great noses, too. Looking at his nose. Really dark shading with the eyes. Really, really, really great job in the middle. I'm liking these sizes, too. I'm not seeing, you got the crayons going on. And he likes money. You guys are crazy today. Really great job in the back. Really big smiles as well. Well, you guys, I think you did a really wonderful job. What do you think? They did good. She agrees. Give yourselves a round of applause for when you pass this class. Now, we will have our last class of the night in which we'll be learning how